Hello and thank you for watching this sweater ornament tutorial by the Santa Clarita Public Library. So in your kit you have your templates, and we'll have a link to the blog if you need the template. You have some felt, you also have some tacky glue, various different decorations for your sweater, some wire for the hanger, some string to sew your sweater together, and then you will need to provide some scissors, preferably fabric scissors, and a marker if you would like to trace your template. So we begin by tracing our template. I've already cut one out. You can choose either one. To do so, you're just gonna fold your felt in half and then place it on one side of the felt. If you place it right, you'll be able to get 2 sweaters out of each color that's in your bag. And then you can either cut around it now or you can trace it and cut, but this way you'll get both of the pieces you need and they'll be even. I have 2 pieces ready to go, so we'll start with that. First, I'm going to show you how to make the hanger and sew a basic blanket stitch around the sweater. Now, you can choose to sew and make your hanger first, or you can choose to decorate it first. We're just going to begin by making this hanger and sewing. So you should have wire enough for 2 hangers. You're going to cut it in half. This one's already cut in half, so we're just going to begin by bending the wire into somewhat of a triangular shape. And it doesn't need to be perfect because you're not going to see the entire wire, but you're going to bend it into that shape. And then your small end where you have some excess wire, you're going to go ahead and wrap that around at least 3 times. Be careful, it is a little bit pokey. For this part, you can also use pipe cleaners. If you have needle nose pliers or wire cutters, they work really well during this part of the craft as well. They're not necessary, but they make the fine tuning of it a lot easier. So we have our hanger shape. It's not perfect, and that's okay because you're not going to see most of it. So now we're just going to bend it into that hanging shape. And here you're going to have a little bit of excess, but we're going to fold it once we have it somewhat bent around. And we're gonna wrap it around again. And then you can cut off any excess. Like I said, wire cutters do work better, but a good pair of scissors will also work here. And then you're just gonna blend it in so it's not sticking out. And there you have your hanger. So you wanna make sure your hanger fits in the sweater part of your ornament. So you're just gonna place it down. And here it looks like it fits pretty well. It's not sticking out. So we're gonna take off the top layer and stick it in the middle. Here we're gonna adjust our wire a bit because we're going to try to sew it in so it stays and doesn't fall off the hanger. So we can move it a bit. We're going to stretch it out because that'll give it a nicer shape. And then it doesn't look like a hanger on the inside, but once you place your sweater on top, you're only going to see that top little part with the hanger sticking out. So it'll look fine once you stitch it. So now we're going to get out our thread. Your pack does come with some thread. It comes with a few different colors. It also should come with a needle and some buttons. So be careful when you're taking it out of the packaging. And just so you're aware, this thread is only going to go to about that corner on the sweater. So you won't get all the way around with it. So I would suggest using a color that you have more of at home. I'm using my own spool of thread just to make sure I have enough. You can also use embroidery thread or anything else you want. You don't even have to use thread at all. You can use the tacky glue to glue them together. There's just a longer dry time for that. So we're gonna go ahead and thread our needle. If you're using a needle with a bigger eye like I am, you're gonna wanna double knot your thread instead of single knotting it. I did notice with one knot, the thread did go through the felt on the other side, so the double knot was enough to keep it sturdy. So to begin a basic blanket stitch, you're gonna go through the top layer of the felt. So just the top layer. And you wanna go through from the back and you're gonna pull forward. And then your knot will stop you. Go ahead and tuck the tail of the knot in, it won't be seen again. Now that you've done that first initial stitch, we're gonna start the blanket stitch. So you're gonna go through both layers of fabric now, and we're gonna wanna make sure that we are also getting underneath the wire of the hanger so we can stitch it in place. So we're gonna go in from the back. You're always gonna go in from the back of the sweater, and I'm making sure to get underneath that hanger, and then I pull through. And then before I finish pulling through from the front, I'm gonna go through the excess thread and pull up. And then you're just gonna keep doing this around the sweater. So from the back, through the front, and then needle going through the thread from the front, pulling forward. This is a pretty sturdy basic stitch, and you see now that our hanger, while it does slide up, it's not coming apart from the sweater. So it's pretty sturdy, and once we get it sewn in on the other side, it'll be even more sturdy. Okay, and then we're just gonna end our stitching here. So we're gonna do one more stitch. And now I'm gonna pull my needle through where we just stitched to make a knot. So we just stitched, pull it through, and then where you started your loop now, you're gonna pull it through again. And now it's gonna create a knot. So you'll be able to cut your thread here and tuck it in. You can do this when you're ending your stitch, or if you are starting a new stitch or a new color. And then you just do the same thing, you tuck the tail in, and then you start from that first flap of fabric, and then you continue doing your blanket stitch around. And this is what it'll look like when you're done. I'm gonna show you the full stitch as I show you how to do this ornament without the hanger. So you can choose to use thread instead of using the wire hanger. So here I have some pre-made sweaters. You can see they're not sewn together or anything yet. We're gonna start with stitching from that first flap on the inside and pulling through. Make sure to tuck your tail between the two pieces of felt, and then you're just gonna come around from the back, pull forward, loop into the loop, and then pull up. And then you're going to keep doing that around the whole sweater. So to make this sweater vest without the hanger and just the thread, you're going to go ahead and make that next stitch on the edge of your sweater. And then you're going to loop around past the neck and go to the other shoulder. And then you're going to go through from the back towards the front, just like you normally would. But you're not going to pull all the way through. So we're going to go in, and you're going to pull. Try not to drop your needle. And then you're going to stop when you think it's long enough. So I think it's good here. And then you're going to go through from the back again to make your stitch. And then you're going to pull through from the front to knot and pull. And then there you have it. You're just going to make your knot like I showed you earlier in the video. So go through that last stitch and then go through the loop you just made to make another knot. And it's all done. Now you have an ornament that can hang from thread instead of from wire. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this tutorial. We hope to see you at the program.